So, okay, you want to know what happened to me in Puerto Rico?
Okay.
We stay at this hotel and we start to slowly realize that like a huge percentage of the people who are like hanging out by the pool and stuff do not stay at the hotel. They're paying like a fee to be able to use the premises, but they live in the area, and they're mostly people who work in tech and software and whatnot. And they chose at some point, primarily during the pandemic, to move out there to basically save money on their taxes / create this like environment for their kids to be free and to be able to play with all these other kids and everything like that. And once we start talking to people, they're basically trying to like convert us
it's a cult.
into moving to Puerto Rico. And I'm not gonna lie, it sounded pretty tempting.
Yeah.
It sounded pretty good.
That's how they get you. Wait, so they don't live in Puerto Rico?
They do. They live
Now.
a mile or two away because
got it.
the actual premises of this shit is like extremely expensive. The actual first person who started telling us this stuff was this girl that we're having a conversation with. This girl has 10 million followers on Instagram and literally lives in like a $10 million house in Puerto Rico, and just to save money. She goes back to Miami every single weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, to get fucked up, and then flies back, recovers in Puerto Rico for the rest of the week. And then she goes back again on the weekend, gets loaded, comes right back.
Is she gonna die soon? So how does
She told me she pays 4% taxes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
4%.
She'll be dead soon. But so wait, she that's not a life that ends well. But so she, what does she do?
She doesn't even do like actual porn.
Yeah.
She's just taking nudie
got it.
photos.
Okay.
Sexy photos on
It's
OnlyFans.
big business.
Not even getting drilled.
Yeah.
It's wrong.
Does she do skits?
Maybe for promotion, but not that I saw. Her Instagram feed, very clean.
Yeah. You don't have, well, dude, there's enough people out there that'll pay for anything, honestly.
I mean, apparently she's found her.
That's great.
Because her house
you know
is
what?
so
Good for her. Good for
expensive,
her.
Yeah.
What about the Wi-Fi in Puerto Rico? I've heard it's problematic.
The couple of YouTube videos that I watched about why you should or should not move to Puerto Rico for a tax haven status, Wi-Fi, very, very big one that was emphasized.
Really?
It's going to be a problem
The
for you,
Wi-Fi is
buddy.
rough. I know. I was thinking that.
It is? That's funny. I didn't know that.
It's like
I guess
in the
The
Caribbean
infrastructure.
Sea, dude.
I'm talking to taxi drivers. They're telling me that there's like a lot of traffic jams. Shit gets shut down. Big power blackouts. All kinds of stuff like that.
All right. Well,
The
no
problem with
Wi-Fi
all
there.
those places, I'm sorry to interrupt, Chris. The problem with all those places too is that if the cab drivers and the hot dog vendors, if they get sick of it enough, like if enough Jake Pauls and $10 million Instagram girls come in, there's going to be a snap where they'll charge the mansions with machetes.
That is possible. There's a movement there called Go Home Gringo.
Right.
Ooh, that's the name they came up with.
It's not, you got to get there now or never. It's not, this is not, because you will go on vacation here and it's good and it's nice. And when you get, this is a good vacation. The idea of a good vacation is you leave the vacation and you think, man, we should move there. But you don't.
Right.
That means you had a good time. Right. Any other thing, the vacation wasn't worth it.
As I was telling my girl, I was like, if we're still thinking that this seems like a valid idea in 6 months, then maybe it has some legs.
Right.
But right now, we're just kind of intoxicated by the fact. And think about it, our lifestyle there, we're staying at this hotel. The fucking beach is like directly outside of our bungalow, whatever the hell this thing's called. If we actually move there, we're not going to be living
they're showing you the
in the
best
lap of
version
luxury.
of what it is. And in 6 months, if you still want to go there, but that woman will be dead, and you'll be like, no, never mind. Good thing we didn't go.
Let me ask you this, Adam. The guy who founded the movement, Go Home Gringo,
Probably such a fat, sweaty. Can you just picture him?
You might be being racist right now. We're not sure.
No, I had to hold back a lot right there.
If the three of us moved to Puerto Rico, which one of us do you think he would hate the most?
I could really see me and you going head to head.
Yeah.
Or you, but you're like a
except
prank guy.
But just looking, it depends on how many people are with tattoos over there.
I didn't spend enough time in the city to really see what was going on out there. But I have a friend named Orlando who's an A&R who used to sign shitloads of rappers. He signed some of the biggest rappers. Now he spends tons of time in Puerto Rico and primarily is focused on these Latin artists because Bad Bunny being from there has completely distorted the entire marketplace. I had multiple cab drivers brag to me about how they had previously done security for Bad Bunny. He's the only thing to talk about out there. It's got to be like Drake in Canada, but way worse because you're talking about an island this big. And it managed to birth the biggest superstar right now, even though I am completely naive to whatever his contribution is.
Never listened. I was up until maybe a few months ago. If Bad Bunny walked into the room I was in and said, "Hey, who am I?" I wouldn't know.
Did I say Bad Baby?
No, Bad Bunny.
I think you said Bunny.
Okay, good.
Did I say Bad Baby?
No, I think I was thinking maybe I did.
I think we're needlessly stressing over this.
Is Bad Baby the one from Dr. Phil? Yeah. Okay. Wait. So yeah. Well then, all right. Well then, you had a good vacation, and I don't. Yeah. I don't know much about Bad Bunny except for now I know what he looks like because he did Saturday Night Live, I think.
And he's fucking one of the Kardashians, I believe.
Oh,
really? Rob or who?
I don't remember honestly, but he's banging one of them.
Really?
Yeah.
is Rob's deceased, isn't he?
No, I was DMing
Isn't he
him.
the father?
DMing him the other day. He said he's down to come on the podcast.
Isn't Robert Kardashian the attorney for the OJ trial?
But isn't there a younger one named?
Yeah, it's a
I
younger
don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
we'll specify, Chris, because it could
I
be
just say I knew
necrophilia.
it was funny because it was a guy, but like I think this is the thing. I think that just based off looks, if you go into the go home pop, what is it, gringo?
Go home, gringo.
Gringo pop. I was gonna say your face is very fresh face. I feel like immediately they hate him.
I think so.
Yeah, he has, but look, he has like a techno mullet as well, which that pisses me off.
Yeah.
I saw because
I've always had this haircut since I've known you.
I know, but
You've
it's
been
just
pissed by my hair.
You're growing into it or out of it, maybe. I don't know.
there's just an irreverence to your haircut. There's just like you know Andrew Schultz when he has the fucking zzz.
Yeah.
It's just something about it kind of pisses you off.
Sure.
But it doesn't, like, it looks a little fascist to me, which I kind of with, but yours is kind of non-binary.
You two also have tattoos, so the go home gringo guy might think you're like construction workers.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I asked about the tattoos, because it could be get these guys with fucking tattoos out of here, or these guys got something about them. Maybe they're good for the economy and we're in a weird way. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I have the title for this episode, Go Home, Gringo Poppy. Oh. We get the comedy fans, we get the white nationalists. We're like, gringo? Who you calling a gringo?
Yeah.
Well, I am, first of all, honored to have D'Elia here, comedy legend.
Been talking about it for a long time.
One of my
you.
favorites, sincere fan.
Thanks.
I discovered recently, though, that Chris and I go back. Well, I did. This is my first time meeting him. I thought so. I didn't know we went back at all. Apparently, we go back to 2008. Can we?
That is wild. Yeah, you mentioned this before, but I don't know what's coming. So what?
Can we bring up one of these photos, and we're just going to go through the slideshow here.
See, I have no idea where this is going either. This is exciting.
Yeah.
Get ready to see some.
Is it?
Oh, really?
It's going to be on the screen, but it's not there yet.
You're going to pull up D'Elia's dick.
Oh, there we go.
No, I will say I've never taken a pic. I have taken a picture of my dick, and I sent it to the people I've sent it to are Brian Callen. So that's actually Brian Callen. I've sent it.
I would send Brian Callen my dick.
Yeah,
I probably would too.
No, you don't have one for sure. You don't have a pic of me. There's no way.
What is this?
No, I definitely
What
don't.
am I
Okay,
looking
so
at?
this
This
right
is, by
here.
the way, so far this is the worst shot I've ever seen in my life.
All right.
anything.
Well,
But explain.
I want to see if Chris remembers this, because
Okay.
Urijah Faber is a guy that we know in common. UFC Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I know you're
legend.
right.
MMA legend.
Yeah.
This was an attempted pilot.
Yes.
It was a show covering life on the fighter block.
How are you involved with this? How do you know about this? This is a part of my life I forget, and then when I think of, I go, "Oh yeah, I fucking did that." Okay, go ahead.
You were doing a pilot with Urijah Faber.
I was producing it. So, you want to explain?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we'll go back and forth.
Yeah,
This is a group
okay.
effort. So, Urijah Faber owned 4 houses in Sacramento.
Yes.
It was right when the UFC was starting to be cool, and all the guys who lived on the block were like the best looking MMA fighters possible. Like handsome guys, college educated. It was a marketable idea. I mean, it was like an orgy 5 nights a week. That probably wouldn't have played so well on television. But then again, at the time, there was the Jersey Shore. So Chris, I guess, comes up there with a camera crew one night when we go out to the Park nightclub in downtown Sacramento.
Jesus, okay.
I'm 18 years old.
Wow.
I get in with a fake ID, and I'm told that Chris was following me around with a camera while I drank vodka and puked.
And you don't even remember.
I don't even remember.
But you don't remember because you were so drunk?
Well, let's look at some of the other photos here.
Okay.
Can we scroll?
Yeah. So, but you're not you're not a fighter. What were you
He's
doing
a
here?
blue belt. in
I'm a
jiu-jitsu.
purple
Okay.
belt.
All right.
Put some respect on my waist.
That's something.
You're a blue belt, right, Chris?
Yeah.
So there's me and Urijah. That was my bed.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Let's keep scrolling here. There's some more at the nightclub. This is me getting humiliated by a friend.
So I was there this night.
You were there. You were present, Chris.
Okay.
Let's keep scrolling. There's more. This is me looking distrustfully at a woman.
Whoa, that's you. Yeah, in the middle there.
Cool hair.
That's me in the middle.
Yeah.
There's me.
There you are.
Maybe
There you are.
doing some problematic things to...
You f***er? No.
I don't think I f***ed her. That's me at the beginning of the night. But Chris, you were probably in this house, like bobbing around.
Yeah.
Were you? If you were producing it, were you holding a camera?
No.
You look like a biohacker.
A biohacker?
Just like very clean jawline.
In 2008, that was kind of the look, though.
Yeah.
A cold plunge in the morning, grounding.
That kind of thing,
I'm trying to like remember a memory there. I don't, dude. How many? But also, how do you have these pictures?
Well, Chris, first of all, I wish you would have, as a producer, stepped in and intervened when people were bullying my passed out body.
Yeah, I didn't. I may, maybe I was not there. Is that you?
That's me on the lawn right there.
Is that a house?
That's a home.
Okay, so
a bucket.
Why do you? These pictures are from. Why do you have these pictures?
Because some lady was following us around with a camera. I was unconscious,
But how do you
dude.
still have these pictures from 2008?
She posted them. Her name was Tracy Lee. She ran a website called combatlifestyle.com.
Okay.
And I would post these like on my MySpace after, and I would try to get pussy with them because Urijah Faber was present.
Got it.
And I was like 18, so all the girls I grew up with like thought that was cool that I knew a UFC guy.
So this was before. I think this was before I even started stand-up.
Wow. Or maybe right at the same time.
No, it was right then, yeah.
Yeah, right at the same
it was
time.
2 years after I started.
25 you started, roughly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This hits home for me because I remember when I got into UFC was approximately 2008, and one of the first fights that I ever witnessed at the bar was with this girl who's from out of town. She came, she meets up with me. We go to the bar, we watch the UFC fight. She's hyping up Urijah Faber, telling me all about him because I don't know anything about UFC yet. I go home, I'm hooking up with her. She tells me she has genital herpes.
During the hooking up?
During the hooking up. And then she proceeds to suck my dick and goes to sleep right next to me. And I was I've never been that okay with not fucking a girl in my life.
Right. That's, I don't know. Is it good to say it in the middle, I guess? Maybe beforehand?
I mean, I would have been pretty upset if she...
and then you got
as soon as I'm staring at her vagina, she's like, I'm covered in sores.
Right.
Sure,
Don't go near this.
Sure.
Or you see it, and then once you see it, she doesn't have an outgrip, but you see, and they're like, oh shit, there it goes. It's starting. Do you have herpes? And she's like, I wasn't going to maybe not tell. Yeah.
And they look like the Goombas from Mario Brothers, and they have little faces, and they're talking and kind of waddling around on their pubic region.
Honestly, you're making it sound kind of fun.
Yeah.
Getting herpes.
If herpes was that, the commercials would be way different. But they wouldn't be in a kayak.
You were filming like a pilot or something?
It was supposed to be. We had a production company where we were going to do a bunch of reality TV. There was that and some other ones. I don't even remember what they were. But that was going to be one that we were going to pitch. And to this day, I think about it sometimes because I do forget about it. And when I remember it, I'm like, that show would have been good.
It would have been.
It would have been good. And whoever slept on that. That would have been because it was before the UFC got really big. It would have been huge.
And it was in 2008 where you could get away with a lot more like misogynist activities. It was so macho and like dude, it would be. There were nights over there where somebody had found an obese Latina woman off of MySpace, and she would come over, and 6 Cal Poly wrestlers would be in a circle around her in a hot tub with their dicks out.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Very 2008.
Wow.
That's 2008, dude. That's how people did it.
But it's weird. I've had a few things like this where you're working on like a pilot for some company or some shit, and you kind of like, you spend a bunch of time on it, and then when you're done, it never gets formally produced. So nobody knows about it, but you spent like weeks or months on this. And then it kind of just vanishes from your brain.
We went out and tried to pitch it, and we had a reel together, and it just,
Wow.
This is a little bit off topic. It's sort of on topic, though. But Urijah Faber, you were saying that girl you hooked up with who had herpes, liked him. He is, to me, like top 5 all-time pimps under 5'7". I think he's like 5'5".
He's very when I showed up, I was like, oh, I didn't know he's gonna be like, I know lightweights obviously, but like I didn't know he was gonna be that tiny. He's tiny,
but dude,
charismatic, good looking dude.
If you're a short guy, he should be like your hero.
He's the guy.
Dude, he would like all the UFC. I don't want to talk about his business, but like I've seen him with the most beautiful 6 foot tall women in the world routinely. Yes.
Okay, so when I started podcasting, an online store was one of the furthest things from my mind, but now we're selling t-shirts, hoodies, kendamas, and more, and it's so easy, all because we use Shopify. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business, from the launch your online shop stage to the first ever real life store stage, all the way to the we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify is there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you to sell everywhere, from their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify has got you covered. Shopify helps you turn your browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout, 36% better on average compared to the leading commerce platforms. And you can sell more with less effort thanks to Shopify's Magic, your AI-powered all-star. Shopify has been with us here at No Jumper through all of our highs and lows, and it's always been able to accommodate our online sales and our need to create flexible solutions. What I love about Shopify is how, no matter how big you want to grow, Shopify gives you everything you need to take control and take your business to the next level. Shopify actually powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US, and Shopify is the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries. Plus, Shopify's award-winning help is there to support your success every step of the way, because businesses that grow with Shopify. You can sign up for a $1 a month trial period at shopify.com/nojumper, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/nojumper now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. That's right. It's shopify.com/nojumper. You'll be helping us out. You'll be helping yourself out. Just get involved. Thanks. If you're a tiny man, there is some status for you to have in the UFC, competing in the lighter weight divisions that you might not necessarily be able to get in most walks of life.
Yeah. It's perfect, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wouldn't want to be short, but yeah. Is that okay to say?
Chris, I want to throw this at you right now, too. I hear you got a big old dick.
Yeah, okay.
Who told you?
I don't want to say how I heard, but I heard Chris has a big old.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
You've chosen to not make that part of your personal brand?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I don't talk about my a lot. Yeah,
I do.
That's fine.
It's not big. Though.
Let others talk about. Oh, you talk about yours. Got it. Mm-hmm. You should talk about mine more.
I do talk a fair amount about yours.
No. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you know.
I know if I have a big one or not,
sure.
And I can tell you.
Please do.
Yeah, it's big. Yeah,
more info, please.
It's big, but I don't. I guess I don't talk about it that much. Not many people ask about it, honestly.
How big is it?
Most normal people wouldn't. Yeah.
I'm locked in right now. This is the best part of the pod for me.
I feel like a lot. The average comedian doesn't have a lot to gain from the world knowing that he's well endowed in that regard. Whereas I think Drake I think he was pretty all right with people finding out that he had a big ass as a rapper who's like a million girls. That helps you.
I will say, when Drake when it went out there, I was like, oh wow, I was like, damn. And then my wife was like, the internet's like losing their mind, and I was like, man, I wonder if I fucking showed mine on the internet. Like what? Just set it up the same way in the mirror with it, just not as nice of a room, because he's obviously, that room is $100 million, but like just kind of whipping it around. But I think, no, mine's good. I'm healthy there for sure.
I think you're a little more than healthy, Christopher.
Yeah. I've never got
really not trying to let it go. It's like you have a beautiful schlong.
Yeah. I've never gotten like, whoa.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't think so.
So that's my theory, is that because I've had phases in my life where I was like out there on the pussy getting trail, but I feel like that would be a lot harder for me to let go if I had a big dick, just based on that first moment where the girl catches a glimpse of it in the candlelight. Just when you get that, oh my God, that's really big. I feel like that would be addicting.
Yeah, hold on. I got to text my friends. Like, boom, she said, oh my God.
Yes.
But I feel like, I don't know. I don't. Okay, so if you're with a chick and she takes off, big boobs is the thing, right? So if you take off your her top and then she's got big tits, do you go, whoa, big tits?
I think no, Chris.
Do you?
Yeah, no, you exactly. But you do when it's a big cock, I think.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you think women do that when it's a big?
I wouldn't know from firsthand experience, but I want you to tell me that that's the case to affirm my fantasies.
I don't. I mean, there was all I remember was there was this one woman where I was like, we were hooking up and totally cool. She was really sweet and she went to, we got naked and she was like, and I was like, you want to have sex? And she was like, I don't know. And I was like, okay, then that's all good. And she was like, yeah, well, I'm like intimidated. It was like an open conversation. I was like, okay, well then we won't do it. And then she was like, afterwards, she was like, I didn't do it because like I think it was big. And I was like, I don't know. And I was like, and I laughed and I was like, you don't have to do that. Like say like, hey, I didn't have sex with you because your penis is too big. Like it's hilarious. And she was like, she was trying to sell it. I still think she was lying. I think she just didn't like me.
Right.
Because it's not like that. It's not like if I take it out, it's like, whoa. At least to me, I don't know, but that's mine.
Right. But I mean, that's the f***ed up thing about our dicks is that women don't really have almost any information to go on about how big your dick is going to be until
there's no cleavage.
It comes out. Yeah.
There's no
big
dick
boobs.
cleavage. Yeah. Which there should be, really.
No tight jeans on your ass.
If there was a woman that we all knew who worked here and she kept her fucking boobs, like it would be almost impossible for her to hide her big boobs.
Yeah. She could walk backwards. But yeah, no, you'd know.
I wish women had some way of announcing whether or not they were a size queen. That chick who turned down Chris D'Elia because his penis was too big.
That's what she said.
I need to encounter a woman like that. Because like one of my biggest fears, I'm a guy who's average. I'm probably fine, but guys,
you're fine, bro. You're tall. I'm sure
you haven't seen my cock.
I'm sure it's good, dude.
It's not bad.
You looks like you have an all right cock.
Let me tell you something. So I do porn.
Yeah.
So that's my excuse for this podcast being so shamelessly sex oriented. But
it's all right.
A lot of times when I interview male porn stars, they make it very, very clear that they don't do it or they don't like doing it when it comes to double penetration, meaning two penises in the same vagina or ass.
Okay.
He's the only guy who's a non-porn performer I've ever met who has told me about how he has done double vaginal with a woman in his own private life, off camera.
Bro, that's wild. Right? Why did we not open with that? Well, I've thought about this before. So that's, to me, if you were to ask me, I would say there are guys that would say, yo, you're a gay man.
Including a lot of male porn stars.
Sure.
Think that it's a little too zesty.
No, guys would say, oh, well, that's interesting. I didn't know you're homosexual, and that's fine. But I don't think that's necessarily gay. I actually don't think it's gay because it really depends on where your focus is on. If your focus is on the woman and you're not really focused on the guy's penis, then you're a straight guy. But if you're like, yeah, and then secretly you're like, also, like, I'm rubbing up against a dick.
Okay.
You're homosexual, you know what I mean? So, like, really, it could go either way.
I think Chris's serious opinion on my double vaginal was that I'm a gay guy. And then he said a bunch of other stuff to make me feel less bad about myself.
No, I wouldn't say you're a gay guy for that. I really wouldn't.
You wouldn't, Chris?
No, I genuinely wouldn't say that.
Would you imply it?
No, I don't think you're a gay guy.
Would you hint at it?
No, I'm saying in a funny way, people would say, like, oh, that's homosexual. I think those people are wrong. I don't think you're gay.
Yeah.
Then why even bring it up, Chris?
I'm sorry I brought it up. I'm sorry I brought up your double penetration.
Now everybody's thinking it. Everybody's thinking at home that I'm a gay guy.
No, I think that you're just, some guys are just like, fuck it, I party, and it's not necessarily
I think that's where he was at. I think he was thinking of it from like a Bam Margera, Johnny Knoxville lens of like, look how crazy I am.
Yeah. Like play the jackass music and then just, let's do this, bro.
I think putting your dick in a girl's vagina with your friends is like the sex equivalent of putting your friend in a shopping cart and then pushing him really fast into a curb and he goes flying and you film it on your VX and you put it on.
Got it. Yes. So, all right. Also, why did you do that?
I think this. So before you're 14 years old, you're into skateboarding, you're into TPing houses. But then like there comes an age, maybe sophomore year of high school, where you go to your first house party, you take your first shot with a cheerleader, and maybe she lets you put a finger in. And from then on, like that is the focus of your life.
Okay.
And every weekend, for me at least in high school, Chris doesn't drink, but I know you are on board with this. The focus of your life is just how much further can I push this partying and sex thing? I think double vaginal was the end of the line. It was the final boss. And once I had accomplished that, it was when I was 27. It was my Bowser. And then like from then on, like I think I've settled down a lot. I think.
And that was, you were 27?
27, yeah. That's a good double vag age.
Is it?
That's when Kurt Cobain died, dude.
Yeah, Tupac, Kurt Cobain, there's a bunch
Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, the 27 Club. That's a big deal. Yeah. Most of them haven't done double vaginal.
No. Yeah. They were great if they did with Kurt Cobain and Tupac double vaginal. And that's what made him die, honestly. So, but here's the thing about the double. Here's the worst thing, because you know this has happened. So a straight guy and a straight guy want to have sex with a woman, okay? And the woman, everybody's straight. Everybody's straight, okay?
We were both straight, Chris.
You're straight. That's what I'm saying. You're straight.
were.
You are straight. The dude is straight, still straight probably, and the woman is straight, okay? You have sex with kind of her, but also you're touching him too, and you don't, right? But so later on, whatever it is, 7 days later, you get herpes. You get it from him. Now, no matter what anyone says, you're gay.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how straight you are.
Good luck explaining in the county jail how you got herpes from your homeboy, but that you're not gay.
Yeah, the thing is I got it from, but I'm straight, but I got it from a guy, but let me explain. That does not work. You're gay.
I think Chris just checkmated me with that logic.
So if you didn't get herpes from that, you still have a fighting chance.
I wore a condom. I wore a condom.
Oh, that's crazier than anything we've said so far.
Even crazier, yeah.
Being safe, thinking about safety in that moment is crazy.
Yeah, I won't. If you're reckless, you're reckless. But you put on a condom. And did he have a condom on?
No, he was raw-dogging it. And he had to buy.
So you didn't trust him, but you didn't trust him.
I didn't trust the woman.
Okay.
I didn't trust the woman.
You wearing the condom makes it a lot less gay. My mind might have actually just changed.
Yeah, because it's not technically touching you. Yeah, but your balls mashed up.
100%.
Your balls mashed up.
And like 30% of my friction was derived from his penis. Oh, yeah. That's undeniable.
That's a wild one, yeah.
And he's got a bigger than me, so it was like it sort of looked like the space shuttle blasting off with the booster and then the little ones on top of it.
Yeah.
And I think you get more sexual pleasure from the bottom of your dick, where there's that like tube that goes along the bottom.
That's not science.
The top is like less feeling, right?
Oh, I see what you're
The
saying.
tube on the bottom
totally.
that's the real like source of pleasure, right?
So now it's tilting back toward I'm gay.
I mean, yeah.
I'm glad you're here, bro.
The part that feels good is the other guy's dick.
I'm glad I did this double vaginal just because of the amount of like podcast mileage I've gotten out of it.
Well, it's cool that you are cool with admitting it and just saying it. This is what makes me think you're not gay.
He came in here one time with a whole folder full of photos of him doing the DV and whatnot.
Yeah.
What's with you having photos for everything?
I like to keep them.
That's fucking crazy.
I like memories, Chris.
This guy's got photos from 2008.
Okay, can I tell my old Chris D'Elia story?
Okay. Yeah.
The year was 2012.
Okay.
I'm living in Long Beach.
Okay.
There's a girl. She's, I don't want to give like too much descriptive information because I don't want, to keep this vague, but she was like pretty hot.
Okay.
She's got like 100,000 followers, which at that time is a big deal, right? 2012. I'm hanging out with her and banging her. Thank you. I go to her house one night. We're kicking it on the couch. We're smoking weed. We're watching TV, whatever. Chris D'Elia comes on the TV. She feels the need to tell me, I've had sex with him. She's bragging in my presence about having had sex with him. I'm nobody at the time. Chris D'Elia is already famous. And it didn't like bother me, but it definitely like set it in stone for me for a moment there of like, oh, this bitch is hot. She's fucked guys with
That's
money
hilarious.
and fame that I don't have. And I don't know if up till that point in my life, I had ever fucked a girl who even had like enough status to have had sex with a successful comedian. Because prior to that, I'm kind of like new on the West Coast at this point. So like celebrity is kind of hard to come by when you're living in New Hampshire.
But 2012, was Chris that big back then?
I was already on TV and stuff. Yeah, I had 2 specials, maybe or one or 2 specials.
Damn, you got good fast, dude. Sorry to take away from the sex story.
It happened quick, yeah, but that's hilarious. But now I would argue, bro, you're that guy.
Yeah, you're that guy. I don't know. It's just like I've always kind of kept that memory in my mind because funny. I remember in that moment, even though I did not have any sort of like claim to her vagina at all, she could be the biggest fucking whore in the world. Doesn't matter. I still would have fucked her. The fact that I knew that in that moment made me feel like I at least had a chance in life.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
You were on his level.
Well, you know
for
what?
that moment.
I'm glad I could provide that for you. That confidence boost.
But even like a girl who lives in Long Beach.
Yeah.
And a famous comedian who performs in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Long Beach is like 35 minutes on the highway away from us right now, but it's like, Long Beach is like Wisconsin compared to LA out here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to her, it felt like it was probably like a pretty big deal at the time as well.
Yeah.
Like she was stoked on herself.
I mean, Chris is a good-looking guy.
I'm all right, bro. The looks, they go downhill, It's like I try to work out. I try to keep it cool, but it's like, you see some angles sometimes and you're like, all right, I'm going to be the old guy now, I guess, You're not, you were the same age.
40.
Oh, you're 40. Okay, I'm 43.
Okay. And
I'm 34.
Okay.
No.
See, you've got a lot of vitality left in you.
Yeah, and
also,
we don't have. It's been only 7 years since you did the double penetration.
You start aging fast after DP, though, Chris.
It has that effect, yeah.
It's like losing a child.
Oh, man.
It just takes the soul out of you. I did, Chris. Maybe like my obsession with big cocks.
It's like losing a child.
My obsession with big cocks, that same guy I he had like a big cock, which is not a great guy to like choose as your like double team partner.
Except for it feels better for you, probably.
Fuck you, dude. Fuck you, dude.
Let's see what Dave's doing.
What if he had flipped the script on you partway through?
With the guy I was double teaming with?
And it turned out it was a different kind of threesome and he just shoved his dick in your mouth. Would you have killed the whole vibe and just been like, no? Or would you have rolled with it and been like, as long as I'm doing this, I'll suck a little dick too?
The best part would be if that guy came out of the closet during it. And like you were having sex, he was under her, she was on top of her, you're over her, and then he just goes like this, hey bro, I'm gay. That would be, then that dude is my hero. Guess what? I'm gay. You f***ed a gay guy.
I love D'Elia, dude. But D'Elia is one of the GOAT podcasters. I've been saying that forever, dude.
Thank you.
He's the best, dude.
I'd like to be silly and have a good time.
He's the best, dude. Put on Chris D'Elia podcast highlights if you just want to have a great afternoon, or listen to his one-man podcast. It's great. But that guy and I in San Francisco once, this chick that I kind of liked, her and I were hooking up in a hotel room in the Marina District, which is like the degenerate get pussy part of San Francisco. And I'm hooking up with her. Him and I already have this relationship of like sharing chicks all the time. And against my better judgment, I kind of like invite him in on it because he's perked up like a dog watching us from the other bed, clearly wants a piece. But I like this girl. She was like half Japanese. Chris fucking raises an eyebrow.
Mind of its own.
Half Japanese is like that's like
kryptonite.
What's caviar?
Kryptonite.
It's kryptonite caviar.
Got it.
God damn, you have Japanese girls.
Yeah, Weezer, as Rivers Cuomo said.
Yeah.
But
very problematic song, I've heard.
Oh, probably.
They've tried to change the script about that song.
There are a couple, and then across the sea, that one's got like Rivers Cuomo put out a very autobiographical album.
I'm totally on the other side of things with that. For the record, I really like that he was like confessing to being a little odd.
It's dope.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the song, but I might know the song, but I don't know the story.
Pinkerton.
Yeah, you're not indie rock enough, bro.
Yeah, no,
greatest album of all time.
I'm definitely not.
So, Chris, this might be part of my self-consciousness with my penis, but I'm having sex with her, and like it's going fine, but she's not making a lot of noises or anything. He comes over and she's like a whore, I found out, so she's just immediately down to have sex with him too. He puts it in, and she immediately turns into a performer on Plug Talk.
That's amazing. So you are like, what the fuck?
Dude.
Do I not lay it down?
I was pretty drunk at the time, Chris, and just
thank God.
Immediately sobered up, and it felt like ice was spreading through my insides. Just, not a peep when I was in there.
And this is the big guy.
The guy I share women with.
Okay, well, I mean...
He's married now, tragically.
That might be why. Because no, not why? Because he's got a big dick, and maybe she was. That's crazy.
It was pleasurable though.
But it's not like it's like 6 feet bigger. It's like that's a crazy reaction.
Yeah,
difference.
And I don't think women marry men for like their big.
No, they don't.
Part.
But I'm saying, but why did she? Maybe she just wanted to impress that guy, and not you.
That's a possibility.
I don't mean to break it to you.
But maybe it just really felt a lot better than yours.
Yeah, true. Sometimes maybe.
See, he was like offhandedly calling me gay, and now you're implying that I have a tiny cock that'll never satisfy
feel good.
Yeah, exactly.
I just think that like
even in guys,
a lot of adult stars that I've had conversations with have revealed to me that their preferred penis size in terms of a long-term sexual thing would be not the 13 inches.
I could imagine that that's true. And then as a man, if you're with someone who is like, oh, good, I'm with you now. It's 6 inches. I've been with the guys with 13. I'm glad that you're not like that. The guy's like, oh, yeah. That's
You're just trying to make me feel better.
Don't tell me that. Yeah,
you don't think I would kill for a double the size of my own right now? Like the average guy is not going to really believe what they're saying.
But I think you would ask. I think you would, because I think most women, even size queens, I think that they wouldn't want to be with somebody who's that big all the time.
It's inconvenient.
Yeah.
For the average woman.
So like
/ painful.
Yeah.
So they might let out a yelp and maybe especially the novelty of it in that moment. Very appealing. But from what I could tell, the average that they would prefer would probably more in the 6 and 7 inch region.
Adam would fucking know too, because I think Lena could tell you firsthand like what, a giant black feels like.
No, yeah, we've had that conversation. Yeah. And she came back to me and doesn't seem like she's dying for
still
a big
holding
black
it down.
Dick. Yeah, still holding it down. Normal size.
What do you think about that, Chris?
I think it would be really impressive if a woman could close her eyes and tell the color of a dick. I think that'd be really just because of like, oh, that's a black one. You know what I mean?
Black ones have a little curve at the end, I feel like.
No, I don't. I think that's generalized. I think you're racist.
A curve. There's all kinds of curves. But some of the guys who have those curves, I think it's because they're using the weird penis pump stretching technology.
Oh, wait. I was listening to you guys on the way over here. I was doing my research and I was, you were talking about a penis pump and the more plates, more dates guy uses it or something.
He owns like 14 of them. If you go back, there's an old video that he made sort of reviewing them and telling
really
you what
good
the best
at what
ones
he does,
are.
That guy. Yeah.
Penis pumps primarily,
Okay, so I've never used one. No, oh, really?
I have one at my house now that someone gave me as a joke, and I still haven't really been able to bring myself to try it out.
I guess I would try it. I just never have. Yeah.
Once you have it, it's still like a lot of commitment to actually like unbox it and take it out, and there's a valve, and a squeezy ball.
And are you supposed to do it before sex? And then it's like you're like Dr. Octopus beforehand, and it's just like not sexy, and you're like.
I think that it can give you some temporary. It'll give you like a temporary increase in size, but also if you do it over the long term, it'll give you a permanent increase in size.
Really?
I believe, yes.
That was what I'm sure that's what they claim, and I wonder if that's true. I need to talk to my doctor about this, but
yeah, you're already battling your physical fitness regimen. I don't think you need to add another one of those in with your penis.
I'm having one of those days right now where I did legs this morning.
Oh yeah,
so
nice.
I'm doing them really hurts. I'm kind of limping around and stuff, So like that's always like a fun day, right? When your legs really hurt, you're sort of hobbling around, and nobody around you knows that you're suffering.
Like,
so
you getting old.
You announce it to them over and over, like, God, I did squats today.
Yeah.
Oh, my legs.
Yeah,
because nothing's more endearing than a guy talking about a leg day.
Yeah, I like it.
I don't want to go through anything without sharing it with the people around me. Anything I'm going through, if I got a little bit of stomach acid, reflux, whatever it's called, I'm gonna announce it to the world.
Oh, really?
Yeah, everyone needs to know.
That's good. I'm doing leg day later, so we both have the same leg day.
So, Chris, do you live like West Hollywood Hills? Where do you live?
In the hills.
Just dox yourself.
Do you have a home gym?
Yeah.
Just give us your address.
I do, but I don't. No, I don't have it. Technically, I don't have a home gym.
Equinox guy?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I have. I'm building a house, though. I'll have a gym in that house, and I have a. And I go to the gym. I like to go to the gym though because it's like I don't do anything else really. I do the road. I do shows, and I go to the gym, and that's really it. Now that I have 2 kids, and I'm like, I like being home with them,
Yeah.
But yeah, I like going to the gym.
I like going to Equinox too. I don't have my own membership, but the guy I double vaginal to chick with, incidentally, he lets me use his Equinox
Where is
membership.
he at? Can we get him on here one
And
day?
also, it's getting gayer that you share a membership. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That we like go in together.
We bought a
holding
house
hands.
together.
Do you have the same like thumbprint when you go in?
It's the dick.
We get the couples discount.
Is there a thumbprint? Did I guess that correctly?
I've never been thumbprinted.
No. There's no thumbprint. But yeah, it's the cleanest gym. So it's the cleanest gym.
It's nice. The Century City one is my favorite.
Oh, really?
Look at, yeah.
I don't know if I've been there.
It's got a nice view of the Bel Air, Beverly Hills area.
Yeah.
Because the one in Hollywood, like there's a couple of them where there's no view. Like, well, I need a view off my treadmill.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Or a TV right in front of it.
I prefer the view.
These hotel gyms are bullshit, though, man. I was trying to get on the treadmill the other day. The TV was behind, and I was like, this is bullshit. And that's not that interesting, but at least it's short.
It's behind you.
Yeah.
A brief anecdote.
Yeah.
Okay, do you feel like being an Equinox actually like hypes you up to work out, or does it kind of make you just want to get the out of there like more quickly? Because now I work out in my gym that I built inside my garage. It's kind of simple,
right?
But it gets the job done. So I'm like very out of touch with what it would be like to have to go work out around people. I haven't done that in a long time.
It's a little annoying when people will come up to you. They're like, "What's up?" That's a little annoying. But at gyms like Equinox, it doesn't really happen that much. Yeah. So because everyone thinks that they're famous, so it's nice. I like to zone out. I don't listen to music. I just zone out. It's the only time where I'm not thinking of anything. Yeah. So, and I think that if I were by myself doing it, I would get distracted more.
You work out with a partner?
No.
Oh.
I got a buddy you can work out with.
I'd love to meet him.
I'd love to meet him.
Don't introduce him to your wife, Chris.
So he wouldn't come on this podcast, though.
He probably would, dude. He's remarkably loose-lipped because he's like a really successful real estate developer. He actually met your dad recently.
What? Oh my God! Really?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, like he's a Persian Jew who's
Where
like
is your dad?
really well bred.
My dad lives in Santa Clarita, and he occasionally will meet people through playing golf that know me, and then he'll report back to me that he met some guy who owns like a burger truck and that he knows me.
Yeah.
He met me one time at something, or like, or they just know about me because my dad literally anyone he meets, he will say, "You ever watch Adam 22? No Jumper?" He asks everyone. So he'll come back to me with all these little anecdotes about different people he met that know who I am. It's kind of weird.
That is something a proud parent does. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, my dad's proud too of my YouTube channel. He's like a very conservative, like white judge guy. And he's in his 70s too, like I think all of our dads are.
Yeah.
But he like will secretly just sit down and enjoy the filth every Monday.
That's really awesome. Man.
Yeah,
I love that shit.
It's nice, huh?
Yeah.
It's nice that we all got to a point where, because there was a time when my dad was like, "What are you doing here, Danny?"
What the f- is YouTube even? Like in 2006 when it came out, like what?
Yeah.
This is not a job, but it is.
Yeah, my dad, I still don't know if he's ever like watched a YouTube video in his life. If he hasn't mentioned it to me. But the other day I was scrolling through my subscription feed and he saw that my compadre DJ Vlad had just interviewed Pete Rose, the baseball player, who is like 800 years old.
That's crazy, yeah.
And my dad sees it as I'm scrolling through and he goes, "Huh, Pete Rose, huh?" And I'm just like, yeah, this is my friend. He interviews people and they put the clips on YouTube. You could go watch these interview clips with Pete Rose. He's like, huh, maybe I will. So that's him getting one step closer because I'm pretty sure he's never watched a moment of my podcast.
Pretty wild that YouTube is so big, but 70-year-olds are like, because my dad is into it. My dad and my mom, she's on Facebook, I think, and she texts me all the time.
Moms love Facebook.
Yeah, well, mom, what the fuck else are they going to do? You know, they're just chilling. But yeah.
My dad's favorite, he watches my YouTube videos and then footage from the Ukrainian front.
Really?
That's a crazy algorithm.
That's his algo.
Yeah.
That's his. He tried to watch our podcast once, but I think I like gave you Lena's Fleshlight and we were like playing around with it or like fingering it or something. And he kind of tuned out of that pod.
Well, more.
If he doesn't like that, then
yeah. I mean, we've pretty clearly alienated the percentage of the audience who doesn't want to hear us talk about sex nonstop. Like those people have already written their comments of like, "I am disgusted by the fact that you guys were talking about double vaginal for a large percentage of this podcast." There's a decent percentage of people who don't like that kind of stuff. Which
but they secretly like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's at least interesting to them. Because like if they don't do it and they're appalled and they've never done it, it's still, oh wait, people do that? The f- those people, they don't know. They don't know. They're not being real.
Yeah.
It's worse than being a transphobe or a homophobe to be someone who's not into double vaginal.
To me personally, trans is a fading issue. Now it's about double vag rights.
I mean, look.
You
Double
gotta see our
vag
flag,
rights.
dude.
There's another good episode title. Yeah, I don't know. But you've done it?
Double vag?
Yeah. No. Got it. So in each hole, maybe.
Well, I could tell you like an incident that I had recently though that really made me question myself. So
Hit it.
we do these orgies as part of my porn related business, Plug Talk, and you'll walk into the orgy, be joining into it, and there's 8, 9, 10 people all in different positions doing different
stuff. What's the ratio like? Right down the middle?
It's usually more girls. It'll be like 6 girls and like 4 dudes. And so there's a girl and she's like standing, she's on her knees just like this, and there's a guy under her eating her pussy. And I walk up and I start getting head from her. She's giving me head. I see she's giving good head, sloppy, spit flowing.
Oh, it's going to go on.
I watch
a
a daub of the spit exits her mouth, drips from her mouth, and lands on this fucking guy's face.
Oh, yeah.
White or black guy?
Black.
That'll influence how he takes that.
I'm going to be honest. He didn't flinch.
He was probably very involved in what he was doing.
It makes you wonder in that moment, are you just a consummate professional or are you a little light in the loafers? I don't know.
Yeah, because if you ignore it, there's an argument that he was so into what he was doing here that he's just a heterosexual guy. But there's also an argument that he ignored it because he's secretly gay.
Are you polite or are you gay?
Right.
I assume
Another title for this
polite.
And if you're too polite, you're gay.
You know Sean Evans?
Oh, I was going to ask you about this. Bro,
It wasn't him. He was not the one who took the cum to his face.
I know, but I see this online. I follow you.
You're like, this is the guy that I'm doing a podcast with next week.
I'm well aware of you, dude. I mean, we've talked in the past and all that shit. And I've also done hot ones. So I see this thing yesterday, I think, that you tweet her pussy's fire.
Congrats, Sean. Yeah. Her pussy is fire emoji.
Okay, so I look at this, and I've seen a lot of shit. I go, whoa, right? What do they know? And now my mind is like, do they know each other? Do they have a beef, or is this all WWE? Then today I see you post a thing on Instagram about him. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to ask him about this.
Right.
And I'm so glad you brought it up because we were.
So, okay. I'm at the porn convention like a month ago.
Yeah.
And this girl, Melissa Stratton, I've filmed porn with her and my wife like at least 3 times.
Okay.
So I've already got this whole thing going on with her, whatever. And I don't want to reveal the exact details of her relationship, but I've always known her to be someone who had a guy in her life. She's doing porn anyway. Yeah. She's got a guy who's holding her down to some extent, whatever. During the Super Bowl weekend, I'm in Puerto Rico with my girl. She says to me at one point, she says, have you seen Melissa's story? And I'm like, no, what? She's like, she's hanging out with Sean Evans, like hardcore. She's like tagging him. She's in the section at the club with him. She's really kicking it with him. I don't know if they're dating or what, but my girl also pointed out, she looks at Sean's story. He's not posting her. He's not tagging her, which as the guy who has like the largest show to have emerged from Complex and, someone who interviews all these like extremely, extremely famous people or whatever, him being seen with a porn star is a little bit of a interesting look.
I see. Okay, sure. Yeah.
When, he just had fucking Sydney Sweeney on. He's got all the top stars. To that kind of person, being seen as dating a porn star is, it's a little interesting, right? Anyway, it comes out, 2 days ago, like you said, or 1 day ago, it comes out like TMZ posts like, oh, they are dating. Right. They said, hey, they are dating. And I'm like, in my head, me knowing her to have a dude, I'm thinking, no, they're fucking not. I don't believe it at all. I think they were just kicking it. They were probably fucking because from what I know, the situation that she's in allows her to be with other guys.
Right.
But in terms of like a serious long-term relationship, from my perspective, no.
So you're saying
just
already has a guy?
From what I know.
From what you understand, okay.
And so I actually messaged her because as soon as I see this post about them being in a relationship, I think to myself, oh my God, this is so good. All I got to do is quote tweet this and say, congrats, Sean. Her pussy is fire. I knew immediately that I wanted to say that. But being that I'm in the porn business with my wife, and my wife has a sense of humor that is like normal, like rational, normal human being,
right.
I think, I don't want to piss my girl off. So I message Melissa and I say, hey, do you care if I do this quote tweet? Because I think it'll be really funny, even though it's a little offensive. She goes, oh my God, I love it. That's fucking hilarious. Doesn't reveal whether she's actually in a relationship with him or not, but tells me that she thinks it would be fucking funny. So I post it. It goes crazy. People freaking the fuck out about the fact that I said
your girl too, right?
I mentioned it to her.
Got it.
But ultimately, I knew that she would be cool with it if Melissa was cool with it. Then I wake up today and I see that they've apparently split, if they ever were together.
Right. Okay. So that's the thing I didn't get. So you didn't know. So they were together. In
my mind, there was no chance that they are actually with each other in any kind of romantic sense. Yes, maybe they kicked it for Super Bowl weekend, but in my mind, there's no fucking way.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you post this, then it becomes more viral, and then they break up, I guess.
If they were actually ever together, yes. It is possible that this is all WWE, and Sean Evans and her have had a conversation about this, and they knew that this was going to be presented as if they were dating. I don't know. Maybe they actually were dating, though. Like maybe the terms of whatever relationship she's in allow for her to have full-on relationships with other guys. I don't know, because every different porn couple has totally different rules.
So what about how that you know Sean?
I know Sean because probably 7 years ago, he was like, hey, I'm in town. What do you got going on? And I said, oh, yeah, you want to do something? Let's go get dinner or whatever. Yeah. So I go out to dinner with him for like an hour, never shot my shot about being on Hot Ones, and never tried to have him on here. I probably should have back then, but I spent like an hour having a conversation with him.
Okay, so you didn't say, hey, I'm going to write this to him.
I did not tell him.
Got it. And he didn't respond, right?
No, he has been totally silent on all of it, which is not that surprising to me because
I would think he wouldn't.
If you're someone in that position, in that world, being in a relationship with any kind of porn star, I've seen it over and over and over. Right. It just instantly becomes so controversial. Everybody wants to fucking talk about it. Everybody is so fascinated by the idea of a guy being willing to date a porn star. I could tell you from my experience exactly what Sean was in for if this was in fact a real relationship and if they did in fact have it for a long period of time and not one day.
Is there a chance, I haven't seen these photos, is there a chance that he didn't want them out in the first place and that she just released them for her own personal gain?
If she was posting them?
Well, she was posting them like crazy on her story and tagging them, and then meanwhile he wasn't doing anything like that. He wasn't tagging her at all.
Yeah, that would be, depending on your brand, that could be annoying. I mean, I wouldn't give a fuck.
If you're Sean Evans, you've got great shit, tons of money-making opportunities going on with all this, but meanwhile, the world doesn't really know that much about you, right, on average. I assume he's probably done podcasts where you could learn more about him, but from my perspective, he's kind of got the sweet spot as an entertainer where he's got a whole good thing going on. He's making a bunch of money. He's got all these different partnerships, whatever, but meanwhile, the world, it's not dependent on
your image.
Yeah, him. Sure. All he has to do is just keep his image kind of cool and keep getting these massive interviews.
Yeah.
Good position to be in. As soon as you start dating a porn star,
it's too stressful though.
The waters get a little muddy.
It's too stressful. You gotta like if I think the best like the ultimate version of that is like The Rock. You look at The Rock.
Right.
I mean, if he says, I'm gonna vote for this president, half of the people are like, well, I'm not with The Rock anymore. Like that's my nightmare. To like I have podcasts, I go out, I do my thing, I do stand up, I talk about shit, you know, like it's my nightmare to be seen as somebody who is not opinionated and like The Rock, everything is, everyone's great and this and that. And it's like, I hate that shit. Like this way, I'm shocked that like late night shows still exist. Like you sit on the couch, no, I know, but they're there. Like Elijah Wood is going to go on Stephen Colbert and talk about Jennifer Garner and people, and it's bullshit. Elijah could be like, she's amazing. They could fucking hate each other. And you could be like, it was amazing. I'm so glad to have that opportunity. And there's podcasts where people are like, I'm not gay, but I put my dick with another dude and fuck the chick. Like, you're gonna watch Jimmy Kimmel?
Right.
It blows my mind.
Yeah.
Who's watching it? Like, your dad, okay, I get it. Dads, okay.
Right.
But
people who have been indoctrinated into this over the years, I never even really got going with watching the like late night hosts because realistically, I became 18 in like 2002. So I could already go online. I could already learn about different bands, and graffiti and BMX and skateboard, all this stuff that I was really into. I didn't have to go full monoculture with it and just tap into the most basic. It's the same thing of like why I find SNL so difficult to stomach. It's just, to me, it's like, this is for everybody. There's nothing specific about my life experience contained within this. So to me, it is extremely boring. No offense.
No offense, but it's just like it got so big it can't do what it used to do. It used to make fun of stuff, and now just with everything the way it is, it can't do that. It can't do that.
The only time I would sit for a late night show would be if the host is somebody like Conan O'Brien, who's so exceptionally talented. He will make Elijah Wood's interview like probably more funny than 99% of the podcast.
Conan was great, but also that still was how many years ago? Like now it's
a couple now.
Yeah, there won't be a Conan O'Brien. There won't be, because there can't be. Conan O'Brien had been doing it since whenever. Since the old guard, the old time. But like it can't be like that anymore.
It
can't be like that anymore.
Robert Smigel, Louis C.K. on the writing staff, like that. Like those were powerhouses. But now, like watching Seth Meyers do Trump jokes, I'm completely.
And I love Seth Meyers. Seth Meyers is a nice fucking dude. He's super cool. I've done his show, but it's just
I was just saying a generic name. Nothing against Seth.
I know. But I just. I don't get it. It's also so skewed politically one way. It's like I can't watch it. I just.
Yeah, it's tough, man. When you are in Los Angeles and you see a comedian get up there and he's doing material on why people who didn't get vaxxed are boneheads,
dude.
It's not even that like I'm super anti-vax.
No,
it's just
same.
Like, I don't like that you're taking for granted that everybody has the same political opinion in this room.
It's so annoying, dude.
And anybody who spends 20 or 30 minutes on Twitter every day knows that there is a massive conflict between two sides. And to anyone who's like going to be doing their content based on the assumption that you don't know that you're just going along with whatever else everybody's on board with, that to me is the part that's going to make that sort of shit.
Bro, when I was in 2019, whenever Trump, 2020, I guess when he was elected, people were like, man, it's going to be in LA, like it's going to be awesome because Hillary Clinton's going to be the president, right? And I would do the road and I would see people and I was like, in the back of my head, I was like, dude, I don't know if she's going to be president. But LA is so insular in that little bubble where it's like they don't even know what the actual fucking world thinks. Like, and Trump won. And I was like, yeah, I thought maybe he might, and he did. And it's just wild. People straight up don't believe the media, and they shouldn't also, because here's the deal. We all know the media lies. We all know that. I think if you ask anybody that's with it, they know that. But you still pick and choose what you believe from the media, which is dangerous because you got CNN saying one thing and then you got Fox News saying another thing, and then you have the internet, which are filled with people who actually tell the truth, and then also lunatics, right? So you got to sift all this information. So for me, I'm just like, you know what? I give up, and as long as I can be happy with my kids, f it. Because I don't know. They were like, the government is lying to you. I go, yeah, and they've probably been lying to us ever since I was born. I don't have a fucking clue. Whoever's president is lying to us, and I'm just gonna be with my kids.
Because the whole media did an incredible job throughout Trump's initial run at scaring the out of the people that the world was never going to be the same if this guy was put in office. And then throughout the entirety of his presidency, same thing. They're trying to scare us and convince us that everything was all f***ed up. I don't think that they can really do that anymore.
They can't do it anymore.
They're still attempting to.
Because there's way more shit to latch onto if you want to paint the picture of Trump being a bad guy, but none of it hits at all anymore. And even somebody like me, who's always voted Democrat, I don't even feel like any sort of sense of urgency to get involved in the conversation or to push my audience one way or the other.
Same,
like,
exactly.
I just don't. I feel like realistically, throughout the entirety of the next presidential race, I'll probably just mostly fall back and not really be dying to have conversations about it on camera because it just kind of feels like we already did this. I already had plenty of Trump conversations a couple years back.
Yeah, I just like love it how like people are like, you know, just anything that happens, we have a fan base or whatever, like, you know, or a following, whatever you want to say. Like people are just like, hey, this happened. You got to speak on this. And it's like, bro, dude, me? I don't know shit. And I just want to be silly. So listen to this, and I'm going to talk about pants for an hour because I don't want to talk about this bullshit.
Yeah,
which is what we were talking earlier before Adam got here.
Chris, I love Chris's comedy so much. I want to ask you about your subject matter a little bit, but like one of the things I love about
what kind of pants are those?
These are Lululemons.
Oh, okay.
What's that?
I have a bunch of pants like that too, but I always stop myself from wearing them to work. But I respect it.
Listen,
no, they're like the best pants on earth.
They're nice.
You don't wear them to work though. Yeah, there's a lot of like fashion statements being made around this office. I notice.
Yeah.
The new hire is a nice choice, by the way.
Skunk
too.
guy?
Yeah, he's got a stripe down his head. He's pretty hip, dude. I like him. But so, Chris, like what I love about you is a lot of people think comedy it's all about what is being said. It's like set up punchline. Like I took my father out for Father's Day. Yeah, I used a 9mm. Like that's what a lot of people's idea of comedy is.
Yeah.
But like my favorite jokes are when like a facial expression is the punchline or like the idea can be conveyed in like 3 words.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're a master of that. You're like a baseball player who has 5 tools or whatever.
Thanks,
like,
dude.
It's like everything.
I like to perform. Yeah. I think that there's this notion that like when here's something that people say to me and they think they're it's a dig and I take it as a compliment. This is a compliment. This is always a compliment when people say this. And haters say this to me. They say, where's the punchline? Dude, that to me is, okay, you don't get my style. That's, to me, punchlines are corny.
Yeah.
Like, just to me, it's not my style. There are people who are very good at it. Ronnie Dangerfield's f***ing amazing. I love watching him. But like
Anthony Jeselnik.
But like, but like, I'm not that guy.
Yes.
I don't want to be that guy.
Yes.
I don't secretly want to be that guy. I want to be on stage and I want to have a good time and make people laugh. And if that style speaks to you, good. But like, if you, I don't have punchlines. I don't like punchlines. I don't find them interesting or funny. They're not funny. I see the work that goes into them, and it's like takes the fun out of it. Yeah, I just don't like it. I tell stories, and I go up, and I make fun of people, and that's it.
Yeah, I got my cancellation for being fat phobic back in 2021. I went on a rant, Chris, on a podcast about how the only useful part of a fat woman is the top half because it has big titties.
Wow.
And like it got graphic. I was talking about a samurai cutting them in half.
Okay.
He got all his shows canceled for a period of time because he said that he wanted to chop obese women in half, right?
Really?
It was rough.
But it's obvious you were joking. It was obviously comedy.
In context, insanely obvious.
But this is what the point I want to get at. This guy who I don't want to talk shit, but he's one of those YouTubers who makes his living off criticizing people who create content out in the world and are taking a chance and sharing their opinion.
A lot of those.
His entire argument was based on the fact that because there wasn't a setup in a punchline, what I was doing was not comedy, and therefore I was serious.
Okay.
And therefore I wanted to kill women, and I should be kicked off YouTube. I completely agree. Like there are so many ways to be funny. You can smash a watermelon with a mallet.
Yeah.
You can make a silly noise. Like that's why I love watching and like even just podcasting with Chris here because you're so fluid. Like you're so.
Thanks, bro. Yeah. I don't know. I just that's what I prefer to do. It's more fun for me. Like that's my family. I grew up like that, and like we all make fun of each other and shit. It's just good like that.
What's your favorite club in LA?
I've been doing the Laugh Factory a lot. I like them. I like the Improv. I did them the other night. Before COVID, Comedy Store was, man, those lineups were crazy. It was like, in 2019, I was like, man, this is amazing. I wonder, I can't take this for granted because like, this isn't going to be like this all the time. COVID happened. Everybody moved. And it's just not like that anymore. But yeah,
all the comedians moved away.
Yeah, I mean, so many are in Austin now.
Yeah, I went like backstage at the Comedy Store a couple times during the 2018-ish era, and it was fucking ridiculous. And I remember thinking, like, it can't just always be like this, right?
Yeah, we were right there too. We were like, we would talk to each other and we're like, this isn't going to be forever. It's going to pop.
It was like what Burr,
it was
Rogan,
Burr, Rogan, Sebastian, me, Segura, Jeselnik. I mean, this was one night. This is in one night for $20.
Yes,
it's like you go see any of us on the road. It's 40, 50, whatever. So it's like. Yeah, it was, and then the pop in would be like Chris Rock. It's fucking nuts, bro.
Yes,
nuts.
It's still pretty great. Like I was just at the Comedy Store to see Trevor Wallace and my buddy Johnny Mitchell, and like Jeselnik walks by. Eric Griffin, a buddy of yours, is a fucking murderer. Like
I mean,
Theo Von dropping in,
of course, and that's a great lineup. You know, all those guys. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It became so, everyone thought that living here was what you had to do. And you just don't, dude. Like you don't. You can live wherever the fuck you want. I think Matt Rife is going to move to Ohio. It's like, dude, it's like you don't have to live here.
Why do the three of us, it seems like the three of us love LA though. And I really love LA. So like, why is it that we are staying?
I used to love LA. Now I love Puerto Rico.
You're a Puerto Rican guy.
LA, I would go to bat for LA, man. People be like, why you live in LA? I'm like, dude, the weather alone is fucking awesome. And then COVID so much of it up. And you know, I talk about it with my wife. I'm like, should we stay here? Should we? But my parents are here, and so we'll stay here for a bit. We're building a house here, and it's just but the taxes and the fucking, you know, it's wild. Especially when you're making a lot of money. It's like, oh, I gotta give this much to the. It's wild.
That's what one of the guys poolside in Puerto Rico told me is he goes, for me and my wife moving here, basically it's like us getting paid $1 million a year to move here and hang out in the sun all day.
Yeah.
So he didn't have to exactly go into how much money he makes, but doing the math in my head, I'm like, oh, well, that means that you and your wife combined are making multiple millions of dollars a year. And if you don't have a really good reason to be living here, given that there's plenty of reasons to not live here, like the crime and the traffic and the whatever.
Yeah. But also, you don't have to go to Puerto Rico. You go, like Rogan moved to Texas. Yeah. And what did he save? Tens, well, I don't know, how millions and millions of dollars because of a Spotify deal.
And for you down in Puerto Rico, they're not even subject to federal taxes. Is that what you were saying?
This girl told me that she's paying 4% a year.
That seems like it might be illegal.
I don't know. I hope she's got a good accountant.
Hey, she's getting away with it.
You want to know something funny? So I'm working out this morning. And there's a porn star, a male porn star named Alex Legend, who I've become friends with, and he comes through and works out with me.
What do you think about that name, Chris?
Alex Legend?
Yeah.
Not his real name.
He's either a porn star or a superhero. Yeah.
He better have a fucking giant.
So I like this guy because he's a metalhead. So he comes through, works out with me, and he also...
Where are you working out?
In the garage.
At his garage.
Yeah. So
listen.
He comes through and he puts on his
I didn't
death
know
metal
Alex Legend hung out at his house.
And we work out, right? And so we're kind of talking, me, my personal trainer, and him about what we're doing for the day. And I say, I'm actually interviewing Chris D'Elia today. He goes, Chris D'Elia. And I'm like, what? And I'm not even going to try to imitate his French accent. But he told me that 10 years ago, Chris D'Elia shamed him at a comedy club during a performance because he was wearing a scarf.
Oh, really? I stand by that, dude. This is Alex Legend? Yeah, I stand by that. Don't wear a scarf at a comedy club? First of all, it's not cold in there. Second of all, you're at a comedy club. You're going to get flamed for that. That's hilarious.
And I told him, I'm like, you know, like there's a thing called crowd work. They're just they f with people in the crowd. I'm sure he was totally fine. He's like, yes, but he did not even give me a chance to respond. I'm like, that's how it's supposed to go. Like, if you want to be heard, you've got to can yell at the top of your lungs to compete with the guy with the mic.
That's funny. Yeah, no, that's funny. You know, though, there is a thing though that people think, like, a lot of times, like, I posted a clip on my Instagram the other day. This dude was laughing at, it was a big show in Phoenix. This dude would laugh at quiet moments. He would just go, ha ha, right? Just to be a dick, right? So there was one part where I said, it's on my Instagram. If you go look at it on my Instagram, it's a few down, but I said, I was talking about this thing where I was like, I cried for 4 days, and he just goes, ha ha, about me crying for 4 days. Yeah. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna talk to this motherfucker. So I start talking to him, and I said, and he's got a cowboy hat. I start making fun of him. I mean, everyone was I obliterated him. Okay, like it's just like it was bad news for the guy, but all in fun. And also, I don't really care that much. Just don't interrupt for all the people. Like I want people to enjoy the show. So the security goes over and they're like, "Hey, you got to go." And I was like, "No, look, let him stay. I don't want him, it's all good. We're good. You just don't really understand. Maybe you're drunk and like it's affecting the show. And I love you, buddy. Just stay." People don't understand that that's most of the time that's the attitude. People think, I posted the clip online. Of course, I posted it without me saying like, "No, let him stay. Keep it." People are like, "Wow, what a fucking asshole. He's laughing at you. And how insecure are you that he laughed at the wrong parts and you try to kick him out. You're fragile." And it's like, first of all, none of it is that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Second of all, you don't understand. He was doing the sarcastic laughing at the fucking quiet moments, ruining the show. And it's all good. But people are like, it's just wild how they see something and then turn it into,
They're the same people who are upset there were no punchlines in the act.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's people like, "You're lucky you don't fucking do that to me." Dude, come to my show. Come to my show. And do that. Come on. I want you to come. You don't understand. Like, I need these people. You need to fall on your fucking face. Dude, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Wait afterwards and fight? No, you're not going to do that. You're also probably not going to say anything in the show.
Yeah.
These people, oh man, if he did that to me, come.
Yeah.
Come.
It takes balls to heckle. Not as much as it takes to get on stage, but it's still it takes
balls
something.
to heckle. It does take balls to heckle, and it's what's missed is a lot of the time I'll be like, "Okay, yo, what's up?" Like I'll hear it like piping up in the back, and I'll be like, "All right, what's up, bro? Go ahead, say whatever it is you want to say." Silence. And I'm like, "I'm giving you an opportunity. You were being annoying. Now I'm giving you an opportunity to say something." I've done this a few times. Silence. I say, "You're a fucking pussy." I was like, "That's what a pussy does. That's what a pussy does." Now when it's okay to talk, you're not doing it. And back then, it's like, this is a pussy, everyone. Like, just so dick.
But okay, do you think that the proliferation and the popularity of the crowd work clips has kind of like changed the dynamic where, it feels like that stuff is so much more viral than normal material,
of course,
that it kind of changes like the audience's relationship with the comedian.
It does, yeah. And crowd work, some people think that like, well, when you get like, Matt Rife made it kind of very omnipresent, and I think there are people, especially because he's got a younger audience, that will see that and think, "Oh, I don't know any comedians, but this guy is funny and this is what they do." So now they might expect that, right? I will say though that like, it's funny that this crowd work thing is like a big thing now, because any good comedian has it kind of in their arsenal. And it's so funny that people think it's like this fantastic. Making good materials way, 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 way harder than doing passable crowd work. Way harder.
Because it's such a one-sided battle.
Yeah.
Because like, okay, even you ever see like
I've lost a crowd work battle, by the way. Horribly.
You ever see on the news or like on like a political debate type show, and you'll have like a big dude with like a loud voice and he's arguing with a woman with a low voice in comparison, and it's just like, this is incredibly one-sided. She has no chance of really coming out on top here. And meanwhile, you have the famous guy on stage with a mic versus some random dude in the crowd. They've really got their back against the wall. It's like an automatic W for the guy on stage unless you really f it up, right?
It pretty much, pretty much.
Yeah.
They say never give the mic to the guy. Because then it's just
you're putting them on your
probably
level.
Still win, but it's because you do this for a living. But
But did you see the David Lucas
I did.
controversy
I
that's
watched
been going
that
on
last night.
Yeah,
I fucking love David Lucas, by the way. And
hilarious.
Can somebody fill me in on this a little bit?
For the audience and for Danny, it's basically he's on stage, he starts cracking some George Floyd jokes, and kind of saying like one of the bars that he dropped was like, if it was me, I would have never knelt on his neck like that. If it was me, I would have shot him.
Right.
But he said it funnier than I just made it sound. He's just a bunch of stuff that's kind of poking at the George Floyd thing.
Yeah.
Literally, you can't see the crowd, but you could see that like a lot of black people start leaving the fucking audience, and a lot of them yell up at him and let him know, like, I came here for a good time. You it up. Like they were deeply upset about the jokes that he was making about that.
But the interesting was I'm watching this video and I'm like, well, this is the outrage. Okay, I'm going to watch this video because David's my friend, and I was looking at it, and I'm watching, and David Lucas posted this fucking video. So I'm like, oh, well, props to him. He handled it actually really well, really, really well. Like, when you look at the video, like, oh, this is going to spin out of control, and he fucked up, but he did not fuck up. He did it. He did really well. He's a pro, dude. That guy, like, especially when it comes to sitting in the pocket there, and when things could go wrong, you could lose a crowd. He looked like he didn't sweat at all.
I thought that I was going to click on it and that I was going to be offended because when I'm looking at the response on Twitter, there's so much anger coming from different people on Twitter that I'm like, oh, like this sounds like it's gonna be really bad. I watched it. I didn't really think it was that out of bounds for anything that I would expect from a comic.
He was trying to be funny.
It's probably not too bad for his career. I mean, like,
it's not. It's
Tony
good.
Hinchcliffe had that thing going in Texas where he called a guy
and
that I feel like only made Kill Tony bigger. Shane Gillis, of course, the ultimate calling success story. Of all the people who have called somebody
we got to start saying it more. No, it doesn't hurt. Anything helps, man. It's like, it's just, bro, you can do crazy shit.
Yeah.
It only makes you bigger.
That's why today I challenged Sean Evans to a fight, basically.
Exactly.
Not exactly a fight, but
no, I know.
I decided, when I see the breakup, I'm like, I need to go wrestler mode. And I'm going to tell him that he needs to apologize for breaking a porn star's heart on Valentine's Day.
So say Sean Evans goes like this. All right, you know what? F it. I want to come on your podcast and I want to chicks on your show.
That's what I told him he needed to do to make things right in the universe.
And you would you would do that.
If Sean Evans wants to make his porn debut, for sure he could do it. Yeah,
I thought that would be your answer.
That would be great. Yeah, let's do that. That's an incredible idea.
Would he use hot sauce as lube?
I think so. And also,
hot ones.
I'm even thinking of shaving my head to let him know I'm serious.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we could both lube our domes. I mean, do you think he's like full on bald, or do you think that he chooses to live that life?
I can't make a call on that one.
Oh, I actually thought he had.
I don't know much about the guy.
Maybe if I think of him, he's got a little. He's got hair, but maybe not. Yeah.
Because if you're a dude who chooses to shave your head, you have two choices. You can either keep it so shaved at all times that nobody ever even gets to glimpse where the stubble is coming up, so they can't tell if you're balding or not, or you just kind of let it rock because you basically are gonna have to shave your head almost every day if you want to.
Horrible.
I mean, okay, he's got a bit of a widow's peak going here, but it's not fully bald.
It's honestly a good bald head. Like that's if I was balding, that's the shape head I would want.
It's like a Jason Statham kind of look.
Yes, it is. I mean, I would say for me, if I was balding, I would have the worst shaped head. Like my head is long and shit. It would be bad as.
We both have similar heads and faces, kind of prominent noses.
Yeah. We got the same face, bro.
Yeah. Same face.
So, I feel like, Adam, you have like the most psychological armor when it comes to posting controversial shit, getting personal on the internet. I mean, obviously, your stunt last June or May or whatever is the best example of that. But yeah, I feel like me and Chris are a little bit more like, I'm not ready to post a clip of me making a George Floyd joke and then taking all the heat from that.
I don't think I am ready to make a George Floyd joke either. I definitely don't want that smoke, but I'm also not going to like jump into the category of people that are like, oh, look at David Lucas getting some shit. Well, bro, why don't I get in on this? I'm going to tell him he's not being the right kind of black guy.
Yeah.
You're supposed to not make that kind of joke. Aha! I'm not going to do that.
David Lucas is again in Texas, the Texas-based guy. Like
he's in Texas and here, I think.
Okay,
I'm supposed to interview him soon. I don't know if you want to get down on that.
Yeah,
he's a good dude.
Precedent.
He's a good dude.
Yeah.
See what his take on double vaginal is.
He's just his thing is he and I believe this dude. Like you should be able to make a joke about anything. Yeah. You should be, and it's up to the audience if it's funny or not a lot of the time. And if they don't think it's funny, then you up. But it doesn't mean, bro, how about dude, we live in a world where they get mad at the comedians for saying the things that are actually being done. You don't need to hold the comedians accountable. Hold the people fucking accountable who did the shit that we're talking about. It's just weird, man. It's weird.
Because if you, as an audience, if you wanted to make David Lucas have a bad night, you would sit there and you would boo when he made the jokes that you didn't like. Walking out it doesn't really do that much. You're now creating an audience that is going to go along with whatever jokes that you didn't like in the first place. If you were to sit there and kind of boo and not be into it, not laugh, you'd be having more of an impact on what he's up there trying to do, right?
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
But I guess if you're so offended that you can't bear to sit there and listen to it, like what is the joke that a comedian would be able to make that would make you so uncomfortable that you wanted to walk out of there?
It'd be tough for me.
Do we even have that?
It'd be, especially with my new alt-right haircut, it'd be pretty tough to walk me.
You'd be the only one left.
I feel like it's
just speak on it, brother.
More, go harder.
Lesbian haircut is what I'm going with. I don't know.
It's a little lesbian. Yeah. I had so Chris, I've been doing stand-up for a year now, which I know you probably secretly fucking hate me.
No, I don't.
Thank you, Chris.
I gotta start somewhere.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not that guy. I'm not.
He's also been doing it way longer than a year, and he's saying that because he feels like he's been taking it more serious for a year.
No,
right?
It's been about a year that I've been doing stand-up, but we've been doing YouTube videos out in the street. Like that was my eating shit, and I still eat shit on stage too sometimes too. But that gave me like a little bit of a head start in terms of comedy because like I mean I've had to like walk into a laundromat and be funny at 9 a.m.
Absolutely gives you a leg up for sure.
Sure. So, but like I was feeling out the whole stand-up thing, and like for the most part, like it's gone pretty smoothly. But there have been times where my crowd work is so aggressive, and the set will descend into like a 10-minute shit talk battle that's like really personal and fucking ugly. Like that's my version of a George Floyd joke. Though like about half my set is about George Floyd, but my audience is kind of, they're trained to like that stuff.
Wait, is it really?
No, I don't have any George Floyd jokes.
But that's you figuring it out too. Like it depends on what you want to do and what your goal is. If it's to make people laugh, then you'll figure it out. But you need to do those things to get to the part where you're doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. If you don't cross the line, how do you know where it is?
Exactly. Yeah. Like it's in stand-up, there is like no more painful, visceral learning experience than bombing in stand-up. Yeah. It's like, I know that's what you love about stand-up. It's like the most immediate feedback. Yeah. It's not like, you send your resume out to a bunch of jobs and you don't hear back. You hear back quick when you're up on stage.
Yeah. You don't, I always feel like you don't bomb unless it bothers you, you're bombing. Because if you see a comedian in the pocket, I shouldn't say even in the pocket, like if they're doing badly and the crowd knows they're doing badly and they're just like, yo, it's not my night. Yeah. You don't really, you're like, it's not really bombing. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
But if they're like, okay, so then you're like, oh God, this is a bomb, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like I've bombed and I've cared and I've bombed and I've not cared, and when you don't care, people are just like, oh, he's just having a bad night.
You know what I brought up? Because I did the podcast with Brian Callen and Brendan Schaub a couple of months ago, and I brought up this infamous moment that I think a lot of people remember where, do you remember Brian Callen was basically saying something that was kind of presenting himself as if he was super tough, and as if if someone said that or did that to me, then I would go to their house and beat the shit out of them, whatever.
2017, I listened to that episode live of The Fighter and the Kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I and Joe takes it very literally and is basically takes it as an opportunity. Yeah. And kind of like use it as an opportunity to tell Brian, like, you're not that tough.
Well, I thought that was Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen.
No, but he was there too, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Maybe I'm misremembering.
Brian Callen is the one who basically is perceived as saying that he's so fucking tough that he wouldn't ever let this, that, or that happen. And when I brought that up, Callen immediately gave me the context of it, which is that he was trying to make a joke.
Yes.
And like Joe and other people in the room didn't really get that he was doing a bit.
I can attest to that's probably what happened.
And in that moment, it came off very different. And through this like 2-minute explanation of it, I was like, oh, well, that makes way more sense than the way that this moment had been presented to me by, YouTube commentary type channels or whatever, because knowing Brian Callen or having watched him over the years, he's not out here just telling you how fucking tough he is all the time. It would be kind of out of character for him to do a bit that was centered around, look how fucking tough I am. Yeah. And in that moment, I was like, wow, I've been kind of bamboozled by the people who create narratives for TikToks and YouTube videos.
Dude, there is one of these channels that's proliferating right now, and it's my least favorite genre on YouTube. We're going to put Tom Segura, Bert Kreischer, or Andrew Schul's face on the thumbnail.
I know a few
say
of these,
the downfall of there's going to be an arrow going this way, and it's it's going to be about why they suck. Dude, it's the same people that Chris was talking about who were like, have a punchline. Like you watch and they're like, Andrew Scholes is losing his mind. 1 million views. I watch it and they're like, right here on the podcast, he's ignoring this guest. He's clearly a sociopath.
I love that you
right here, he talks
I
over.
watched this one too the other day. And I had the same exact reaction, which I was just like, no. Like the narrative that you are painting here, no. And there might be some truth to some of it. There might be some truth to like Andrew over laughing or Andrew being a little too aggressive with the guests or whatever. There might be some truth to that, but you are not going to fool me into thinking that probably like the biggest fucking comedy podcast right now is falling off.
Yes.
Just because you were able to isolate a couple of different moments from the podcast that you're so convinced that it's over. Andrew Schultz's career is over. He's filling arenas with 20,000 people, whatever it is.
His last video has got 1 million views on it.
It's over because of these 5 little talking points that I've been able to assemble into a video. I exited out of that video very quickly because I was so not going for it.
I did this. I'm sorry, Chris. I saw one about Bert Kreischer, and I was like, I have to see if I can recreate this. I went to ChatGPT and said, write a negative essay about Bert Kreischer. Indistinguishable from like 20 videos on YouTube. It was perfect. Like I could have uploaded this with a robotic voice and it would have been the same video.
Wow. Whoa. So wait, I guess my question is, why do you even click on that video?
Because they get so many views. Like that.
So you click because you're like, oh, this has 1 million views. I got to see why.
Well, no, I'm a YouTuber, so I like to see what's trending on YouTube and kind of reverse engineer it. But like that is, and I'm like me as well as Adam as well as you. We've all been the target of YouTube hate campaigns. Sure. So like I also get like it's like looking at a car wreck for me. I'm like it triggers me and I have to see what it's about.
Interesting.
But maybe that's why I hate that genre so much more than the average person.
Yeah. I don't click on those because of the same reason that you'll click out. I know I'll click out of them because you'll get that. I think. Yeah. I don't know.
I love good criticism, like good music criticism. You know, I'm a person who I'm ashamed to admit this, but I've been reading Pitchfork reviews of albums for like my entire adult life. Wow. I will visit the Pitchfork website because I enjoy people criticizing art. And there's been many times where I've clicked on one of these videos criticizing podcast hosts or whatever. And if I feel like they're doing a good, honest job, I mean, I love that kind of content. Sure. But as soon as it starts to feel like, okay, you're just looking for any possible way to take a really, really popular comic or rapper or whatever and put them in the thumbnail and create a narrative that is not really that tied to reality. That's when I start to be like, okay, this genre has really gone a little too far at this point, you know?
I hate when it gets personal too. Like when some of them, like, I remember there was something about Brendan Schaub, like attacking him for having CTE. And I was like, dude, that's different than you saying he's not a funny comic, which I like Brendan Schaub, but dude, that's so personal to attack the guy's mental state.
Yeah. There's, I mean, everybody's a real person. It's, but not online. It doesn't seem to be like people it's that whole thing where it's like, it's much easier to kill someone by pressing a button that will blow their house up than it is to shoot them in the face.
Sure.
Because you're disconnected from it.
At the same time, though, like the three of us,
the person still dies.
And Bert Kreischer and Brendan Schaub, I mean, that's kind of the price we pay for living like great lives. Yeah. It's a great life, and that's what comes with it.
That's true.
It's like the quarterback for the Patriots is going to get shit talked about him, and that's what he gets paid for.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, it is weird, though. There are people that miss that somehow. They're just like, they don't get the hate. Like, every now and then somebody comes along, like, I think about, if you take the really famous version of it, like Keanu Reeves, like nobody's ever said anything negative about him. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy.
Who's a comic? Because we also open ourselves up in a way that Keanu doesn't.
True.
Who's like a comedian that just is everybody loves? I'm trying to think right now.
Well, yeah.
I was going to say like Sebastian, but I still see people talking shit about like Sebastian's whenever he drops a new special, like, oh, he's gone downhill, not the same. And he's a guy who's just like universally loved and not controversial. Rogan obviously got all his. I'm trying to think like Trevor Wallace has a pretty good reputation.
Yeah, he does. However, he's not at the level where that happens yet. I don't think
he's about to be there.
He's
about to be there.
Love Trevor Wallace.
Super nice guy.
Yeah, great. Yeah,
I really like him.
Works so hard. The guy's gonna be at that level for sure. I just feel like he's right under that level that gets that hate.
Yeah,
but in terms of like narrative building, which is what this is kind of all about, it's they will build Trevor Wallace up until he gets to the point that he's really fucking big, and then these different commentators will make it their mission to find moments. And as soon as there's a crack in whatever he has going, he has one bad interview with someone where they kind of clown him or they give him a hard time and he ends up looking bad, or he has a moment on stage where he looks like a fucking asshole. Right. And that's when they'll really start to sink their talons in. Because painting Andrew Schultz as a failure or as somebody who, is so far gone that he's clearly falling off. I mean, it's just so early for you to try to make that kind of, like, honestly, 5 years from now or however, there will come a day where Andrew Schultz starts to get replaced by other comedians or other podcasters.
That is fine. Yeah.
But these content creators are trying to speed run that process because they realize that if they're able to paint that narrative a year before, 2 years, 3 years before it becomes something that other people are talking about, then they'll be able to be the ones getting the clicks and the views, which it's kind of like a sinister process. But you also have to be aware enough as a content creator to realize this is just part of it.
Yeah. And it ultimately doesn't matter. Right. Like, we all made it. You're all fucking, you're doing your thing. It's like, you do a show that has thousands of people in it. You're like, oh, these are actually real people. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know who nobody makes. I don't think do people make the positive videos about people on YouTube? I don't think they do.
Yeah, they don't get picked up in the algorithm.
You usually have to like frame it in such a way that it kind of sounds negative. Like you kind of think that it's going to be negative, and then you start to watch it, and then you sort of realize, like,
this is too happy.
Yeah, wait a minute. There's nothing negative at all being said here. Yeah, I've had that many times.
I was listening to an interview with Ty Lopez, Mr. Here in My Garage. And he's actually a pretty fascinating guy, but one of the things he said is that it's better to be a prince versus a king. Because when you're Donald Trump, you're getting indicted 6 ways till Sunday. Every girl's coming after you for fucking everything. But if you are a real estate developer in New York and nobody knows his name, you're fucking crushing it.
Interesting.
If you're Trevor Wallace right now, he's making basically the same amount of money as the top guys, but he's not Bert Kreischer with a face that's photoshopped to make it look like he's crying on every YouTube thumbnail.
But because
Bert's a king and Trevor's a prince.
You know what I've always wondered? Why do you have McDonald's? They get supersize me. They get campaigns against them. They got McDonald's gets more shit than anybody you could ever think of. Walmart, same thing. Why does 7-Eleven go? Basically,
there you go.
Nobody's writing hit pieces about 7-Eleven.
Is the fucking Keanu Reeves of
You ever see those fucking wings?
7-Eleven.
You ever see that pizza? There's a lot to criticize about 7-Eleven. Now, for the most part,
bums all hang out there. I hate the bums.
And you know what? You look at that pizza and the hot dog, and you see that in 7-Eleven, and you go like this. Whoa. It's a little bit like Keanu, dude. That's fucked up.
Like Bill and Ted,
Yeah.
I don't know, but you want to know what, too? Is that McDonald's and Walmart are American made. 7-Eleven is Japanese.
Oh, you did your research.
Well, I
figured that out over the years. But also, 7-Eleven is so global. You go to Thailand, oh my God, you've never seen this many 7-Elevens in your life. Every corner and in the middle of the street, you will see a 7-Eleven.
You go in a 7-Eleven and then go into another 7-Eleven.
That's two 7-Elevens connected.
There really is an internship program going on for young Indian men at 7-Eleven, though. We had one on our podcast. We had an honest-to-God 7-Eleven employee who was an illegal immigrant from India.
Really?
And, like, dude, the second he got here, like, 7-Eleven just hooked him up. They threw him one of those jerseys they wear as uniforms, and he's ringing up Black and Milds.
Dude. Well, I mean, the 7-Eleven employees, they go through it more than anybody. They're right in the middle of the hood. They're getting tortured by these dudes. Like, people are coming in every day trying to scam them, trying to rob, trying to steal, trying to put a gun in their face, empty out the cash register. I mean, those are the untold stories that we need to tap in with.
And there was a controversy, one right up here in North Hollywood. They were having to blare classical music to keep the bums away. And they were like, what's that shark song? That like kid song about the
Baby Shark?
They were blaring Baby Shark to keep the homeless off the premises.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Because you're a dad, you know how powerful that song is.
But then you get the that would just make the clerk start shooting everybody. Fuck all. Baby Shark, come in here, I want to kill mother. Dude, that's crazy.
You're torturing the bums, but then meanwhile, the guy who works there is the one who's really got the psychological trauma going on. You ever have this moment where, just as long as we're mentioning kids, it's 9:30 p.m., the flight lands from Puerto Rico, and me, my girl, and my 3-year-old daughter are all shuffling along, trying to make it out of LAX. And my kid has not slept enough at this point because she's not really sleeping on the flight and stuff. She, like a 3-year-old who hasn't got enough sleep, is like a drunk, like a wino. Like they're just saying the craziest shit
the N-word. They're just like, what the
especially out of
That's a whole different bit. My kid said something that kind of sounded like that word the other day. But literally, as we're shuffling out, anybody who's left LAX in recent memory, there's a giant poster of a fucking monkey on the wall. It's like an ad for a zoo or some shit. And as I'm walking out with my kid says, "Dad, I eat monkey poop. I ate monkey poop." And like a bunch of other people who are walking out with me are all make eye contact with me and they're laughing. Because they're parents and they kind of understand that this is what kids do. They say crazy shit. But it occurred to me in that moment, like, I might not always be so lucky. I got to teach my kid to stop talking about monkey poop.
There becomes an age where they're not 3 and they say, "I ate monkey poop," and if you don't curb it before that, they think like, is this dad really feeding his kid monkey shit? So you got to make sure that she understands.
So where does that happen? Around like 4 or 5?
Yeah, and then also if people who don't have kids see you, they might think like, what the fuck? You know?
I was thinking that. But what if there was a fucking LA Times journalist walking alongside us and that's his big scoop? I'm going to do an article and tell the world about this dude feeding his kid monkey poop.
Just some single 39 overeducated Berkeley woman who works for the LA Times.
This is a pattern Adam 22 does. He feeds his kids.
I've been seeing a lot of single women in Los Angeles who you can tell are probably like never going to have children and hate men. Just like walking like border collies on leashes.
Really?
Have you seen that type? Yeah, just like the liberal overeducated woman who's single and has a dog.
Yeah, that's mostly not a happy person. I mean, I'm sure there are happy people with that, but mostly you could be like, hey, probably not a happy person.
That's one of my favorite stereotypes to run across is just like a grown woman who's clearly prioritized her career over forming any sort of relationship with a man, never mind having kids, and they're living vicariously. Well, they've replaced the kids and everything with like watching Netflix, maybe having some sort of like radical compassion for Ukraine or Palestine on Twitter.
Definitely Palestine.
Walking a unique dog around. That's their whole personality that they've decided to use instead of getting into a relationship and having kids. And you can see it in their face how unhappy this series of life choices has made them, but they're stuck.
And by the way, fun to watch Netflix and have a dog and do whatever the fuck you want. That's fun. But you have 40 years left.
Yeah.
That is not fun.
Yeah.
You know, you're 40 and you are going to live till 85? That sucks.
Dude, like
Hey, but you know what? More power to you.
Yeah, that's fun.
There's such a skewed view of the world, that type of woman. I was just on an onboarding call for a company, and there were a bunch of other influencers who like have this brand sponsorship, and they like the host is like just one of those chippers trying to not be offensive, like, hey everybody, welcome on. We're gonna go around, ask everybody what they like to do and how their January's going. This lady who's an astrologer gets on. She's like,
astrologist.
Did I say astrologer?
Astrologer.
Either way, I don't know what that is.
Astrology.
Stars, I know.
Oh, she's into astrology?
Yes.
The stars.
And she gets on there and she's like, hello. I go by Ember. And this January, I'm just trying to come to terms with how awful of a place the world is right now and what we can do to correct it. And I just thought, what? Like, that's living in America in 2024. That's what you take away from what's going on, is that your life is miserable, much worse than the generations prior.
Yeah.
And you can't enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's kind of incredible.
Yeah, just go to a grocery store and get something nice to eat.
Yeah.
Just do that.
Yeah.
Hey, do that.
Yes.
Yeah, you're actually not miserable.
Yeah.
Choose to not be miserable.
Right.
Yes.
Go eat a Entenmann's. What I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's insane, dude.
Watch any movie you want without getting off the couch, without going to Blockbuster and being like, oh, Training Day's gone. Just buy it off iTunes for $2.99. Watch it. Hey, get an acai bowl delivered by an Indian guy to your house.
Right.
And then eat the fucking acai bowl.
But I mean, the thing that's so offensive, and you hear people say this kind of shit all the time. I've heard girls say, like, I wouldn't want to have kids in 2024 because the world is so up now. Literally, when my mom was a child 70 years ago, black people had to drink out of different water fountains. You were going to be sent to Germany to fight in a well, not 70 years ago, but like a little bit further than that.
Every generation goes through that.
You're going to be set to fight in some crazy fucking wars. That, man, this is like this painting of like modern times as if it's so bad. It's just fucking ridiculous.
Dude,
if you have any kind of understanding,
it's just going to get better and better. Dude, there's going to be people in 100 years, people get the only thing that they're always going to be doing is getting sucked off and eating cupcakes, and they're going to be like, oh, this world's going to shit. Dude, it's awesome. It's only getting better and better, dude.
Yeah. It's
the cars are cool. The people are crazy, but you get a nicer shit in your house. If you have a house, you have an apartment, you fucking nice apartment, you get you can make it. You can make it. Everyone wants to be a victim.
So here's how it is right now. We've never been more miserable, and Louis C.K. had the immortal bit on this. We've never been more miserable. That's true through polling. That's how it is. People perceive race relations the worst they've ever been. Economic status, they perceive it to be the worst it's ever been. In the 50s, people always look back to as the glory day. People had less money. This is data. We had less money in the 50s in the Leave It to Beaver times, but people felt richer because there was no basis for comparison. You saw your fat neighbor who just got back from the Chrysler plant. That's all you know. You don't see Bryce Hall in Vegas putting $1 million down on a blackjack table with a smoking hot Argentinian chick next to him. That's so our perception is that we're poorer than ever, but it's not true. We're fucking richer than ever.
Yeah. Wait, Louis C.K. had a bit on that? Right? Yeah. Louis C.K. had a bit on that?
He's got the best bit ever. Like, everything's amazing and everybody's miserable.
When he was on the couch with the Conan?
He did it there.
He did it there, but he actually does it in his stand-up. Got it.
It's like, you're flying. You're complaining about the Wi-Fi. You're sailing through the air.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I think Wi-Fi should always work on an airplane, but that's a different story.
Yeah. Oh my God. I spent $25 on 2 separate flights the other day. So I had to spend $25 on the first flight and then another $25 on the second flight.
Yeah.
Same airline, same plane.
Yep. Oh, wow.
I noticed because they gave me duct tape because there's like a divider in the first class section between me and my kids sitting right next to me. And I wanted to keep the divider down so I could maintain a line of vision on it. So they bring me a fucking roll of duct tape so I can put the pieces and keep the divider down. We get off of the plane. We go, we get some food. We get back on the plane for the second leg of the flight. I realize it's the exact same plane, and then I have to spend $25 again on Wi-Fi.
You do, bro.
Everything is the same. I want to get somebody who works for me to dispute the charges. I don't really see myself sitting on the phone with them, but
that's what they get you, dude.
That's the game. Yeah, you're not going to argue it. That's the game, dude. That's what do you do? What do you do? You go like this. You go like this. It's the same plane. $25.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I'm going to get enough work done. Even if I answer like 3 emails, it's like that's enough to justify the $25. But I'm still really offended.
$25 is a lot for Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it depends on how long the flight is.
That's a premium for Wi-Fi, my friend.
If you're taking 2 flights, that's up. $50 for the
right.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But then in the layover, we went to Popeyes. I'm pretty sure we spent like $50.
So you saved some money there because you could have went to a nicer place.
Yeah.
So you saved some. So all in all, the Wi-Fi and the food all equals what it should have equaled.
You ever been to Papa Do's?
No, what's that?
It's like a seafood place that you see down south a lot, and I saw it in the Dallas airport. And I've never had it, but I've heard it referenced in a lot of rap songs because it rhymes with some stuff. Yeah. And then I was thinking about getting it, but I'm like, I don't think I'm going to get the real version of whatever this tastes like here in the airport. Although the Popeyes was exactly the same as it usually is.
Yeah. You could just go there and be like, what are the rappers like?
Yeah. Well, that is a good point. Yeah.
That'd be a dangerous thing for you to utter. People would assume that was code for something.
I will say that. What do rappers order here?
Yeah.
You ever had a rapper here? What do they order?
Yeah.
Southern food. I mean, that sounds inedible. A Southern seafood franchise. I mean, we have Long John Silver's, and I've proudly never set foot inside one.
You never been there?
Never had it.
It's pretty all right.
Never had it. I actually have never had Popeyes.
Really?
It's good. Yeah. It is. I would never eat it unless I was like life-threateningly hungover, but it's pretty tasty.
I'm sure it's good. It's supposed to be, right? Like that, they engineer it to make it good. I don't. I ate fried chicken recently from a fast food place. I never eat fast food except I do eat In-N-Out. But
your spot's Dialogue Cafe, right?
That's me.
I love Dialogue.
You too?
Yeah, bro.
Dialogue Day.
How do you know
breakfast
I like that?
burritos are amazing.
I think I saw you there once. I drove by you there once.
Cool.
And I think you talked about it on your podcast.
Pod, maybe. Yeah.
Dialogue. He had a whole bit on here giving me shit about ordering coffee and burritos from Dialogue as well. I've never been there in person, so
you haven't?
I don't know what the vibe is.
I
just Postmates it.
It's nice, yeah.
It's an incredible vibe. It's like the hottest chicks in the world. But the problem is the bathroom door. There's one bathroom.
Yes.
And I need bathroom access if I'm posting somewhere, dude. Because I piss a lot.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. That's not why you don't like the bathroom situation?
No, it's just they had a bathroom situation and they were fixing it. They said, and I was there. I mostly Postmates from it. I've been there a few times, but and they were like, no, our bathroom is this and that. You have to go down, and I was like, oh, the bathroom situation is up. So I know it's up, but I don't know about the thing.
Dude, for me, that's like because I like to work on my computer and I love to work at other places. It's sort of like why we like going to Equinox or to a gym. You're there, you're in the mindset. I got to get a good workout. I can't go start jerking off midway through if I'm doing work at home.
Right.
But I can't go to Dialogue because the bathroom situation is a cluster. Like I need a Barnes and Noble. That'd be great. Usually they have 2 stalls.
Love working there because nobody's paying attention to you at all. They're trying to sell books.
Absolutely. And that's a dying business. There's hardly a soul in the building.
They're happy to just have you there with your $5 coffee, even if you're going to be there for 6 hours.
Right. That's a more profitable purchase than a book would be. UCLA is the best spot to post up, dude. UCLA's got the best bathrooms, dude.
Really?
Yeah, dude. That's where I
don't care about the bathrooms at all. I will go piss or shit any bathroom.
In the woods.
I don't care. Dude, man, that made me think of, dude, I've told this story on my podcast before, but I had the whole thing with Eminem, like he wanted to do the song and stuff. And so,
about that,
so I was in Detroit to do a show and they reached out. I don't remember how, but they were like, Eminem wants you to come by the studio and like say hi. So I was like, all right, cool. So we were on the way there. We were in the SUV, not the SUV, the what do you call it? The big
Sprinter?
Mercedes Sprinter, yeah. And bro, I remember I had to pull over and shit in someone's yard on the way to Eminem's because bro, and it was so fucked up too because it was one of those things where like you were it was feeling like you have the first initial where you're like you're like nah, I can make it, and then immediately you're like maybe I can't, and then immediately after those 2 moments, it went to, you know what? We need to stop right now. And I went and I said, hey, can you pull off? Because I gotta go to the bathroom and I got to do it now. And the guy's like, sure. He goes, dude. And the guy's like, which way you want to go? I'm like, bro, don't ask me shit. I'm gonna shit myself. You know what I mean? If I do anything but concentrate on not letting my anus open, like having a conversation with you, this Sprinter's fucked. Yeah. So I said, yeah, just you figure it out, And then there's right and left off of the freeway. Right, there's a hospital. Okay, left, there's I don't know because we don't know where we are, right? So he goes right or left and I don't hear him and he goes left. And I'm like, well, one thing's for sure, hospitals have toilets.
Yeah.
So I go like this, pull over. Like you got to do this now. We're going to guess. Call that. I'm going to shit. So he pulls over. I open the thing. I run into somebody's yard. And it was like in Detroit, in the outskirts of Detroit. So people had like property, like it was a nice place. And I just squat down.
My sister lives in the suburbs of Detroit.
Shit.
Might have been her lawn.
Dude, when I left, I was like, they're going to think a mountain lion came by. And, bro, and I got back into the Sprinter and I fucking went and I met Eminem and he has no idea that I took a shit in someone's yard before I met him.
How much FaceTime you actually go with him?
A long time. We were probably there for an hour and a half.
Just kicking it, talking about whatever?
So cool.
Any particular information you gleaned? Because keep in mind, I'm in the hip hop world and almost nobody, including like media professionals, including like the pop and rappers from Detroit, almost nobody gets FaceTime with Eminem. He does not go out in public. He does not do anything.
He likes comedians.
He really likes comedians. He likes, when I did that thing, when I did the impression of him, and then he was like, he retweeted it, and then they wanted to put me on the song where he played me and I played him, which was fucking still crazy, by the way. I showed up in the studio, and he saw me, and he started rapping my impression of him, and I was like, what a trip, this shit, like this life is crazy.
Wow.
And he was doing it, and then he sat down. We talked for an hour and a half. It was unbelievable, man. Like I got to the point where I was like, all right, well, I don't want to keep your time. And they're like, nah, stay. So yeah, and he was talking about rapping and how he came up and critics and how and his tour life. Like, we covered it all. It was crazy.
And you shook his hand without washing your hands. You had just been clutching your own ass cheeks, pulling them apart in a squat stance in somebody's yard, taking a shit.
I don't think that's necessary.
You know what? I don't know.
That's how I'm seeing it.
I don't know, and I hope I washed my hands.
Right.
Yep.
But you might not have. And he's like a bit of a germaphobe, so I don't. I might hit him even a little bit harder.
But I'll tell you, I'll go further, bro. It was clean how I did it. Like you don't. If somebody doesn't wash their hands after they go to the bathroom, I would put the trust in them. Like, all right, well, they were there and did the thing. They know if they have to wash their hands. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. I'm not a germ guy.
Yeah.
But like, shitting is a different story. But pissing, I don't give a fuck at all. My penis is clean as shit.
I think it's dirtier to touch the faucet that might have been handled by the junkie who came into Starbucks.
Yeah.
I wash my hands on the way into the bathroom in case I touch something dirty and I don't want to put it on my.
I'm very confident the reverse is clean.
Yeah.
I'm not so confident in that.
In reality, if you were to smell it or if we were to look at it under a microscope, I feel like probably not that clean. But in my head, I'm not really doing anything disgusting at all when I go to the bathroom. But I try to wash my hands, but quite frequently I don't.
Yeah.
If it's all touch free, I'll do it. If not, I'm walking the fuck out. Sometimes I get guilted though. Like if I'm stopped at a truck stop and there's like a long haul, like 18-wheeler driver kind of eyeing me, the pressure makes me like.
That's when I doubly don't do it. You got to get used to those situations where you look at somebody in the eye and you don't wash your hands and they know you don't wash your hands and you own that situation.
Dude, maybe that's why Chris fucking dominates the stage and I'm still struggling with that. I think
helps.
He's got that confidence.
What's somebody going to tell you you're a piece of shit? Who gives a
But okay, what about when you're in an environment? Like I was just at the porn convention for a week. So like basic thing, you get to the convention at like 1 or 2 p.m. You're shaking hands and taking photos with people for like 6 hours. Yeah. And at a certain point, you've just got to accept your hand is now radioactive.
Yeah.
You cannot chew your fingernail.
Yeah.
You can't put it in your eye.
Right.
Anything. This hand is useless until I encounter a sink. I'm only going to use this.
Or you find an enemy and you just put your hand in their mouth and that guy have everything.
And there's a lot of chicks I hate who would probably be down to have my fingers in their mouth at the porn convention, so that was not a bad idea. But I mean, that's like a weird moment for you to just be like, this hand does not belong to me anymore. This is like a rancid piece of shit that I want nothing to do with, but I'm going to put it with other people's hands. But no, and then I found some hand sanitizer, so I was actually using that.
Well, the ironic thing is hand sanitizer is probably net worse for your health.
Really?
A bunch of stuff came out during the pandemic. That shit, it's like toxic. It seeps through your skin and does damage. Soap, I mean, obviously, like germ theory proved that a doctor should wash his hands before delivering a baby. So I believe in washing your hands, but a lot of it I feel like too is just in our head. Like if we showered a quarter as much as we do and washed our hands and ate as much, like would there be much of a difference in our health?
I had like a 3.5 day not showering streak going prior to this morning.
That's what I'm talking about, dude. I like that.
Wow. I've never done that.
Monday afternoon, took a shower in Puerto Rico. Tuesday, flew all day. Wednesday, worked on my computer all day. Totally forgot that I hadn't showered in the Jack Shack.
Hell yeah.
And then I took a shower this morning. I'm like, that's probably like one of the longest not showering streaks I've done in my entire adult life.
Yeah, at some point, like I don't want to pollute my sheets. I feel gross.
That's what my girl brought up.
Yeah.
For me, it's not even. It's just I don't feel like I really woke up.
You shower first thing?
Yeah, almost every single day. But I don't know what I was going to say after that.
What time do you wake up, Chris? You wake up at like 3 p.m., don't you?
No, I used to do like noon, but I can do like 10:30.
If you wake up at 3 p.m. with kids, that's insane because your kid's about to go to bed.
No, I know.
At 3 p.m.
Although my kids stay up later. We orchestrated. We're like, wait a minute, we stay up late. Why can't we just? We don't have to do it.
And that works.
Yeah.
Interesting. What time does your kid wake up?
Honestly, sometimes they wake up at 10.
Really?
10:30. Yeah, it's gangster, bro. It's so good.
Do they go to school?
Well, we don't do it on the school nights. We try to put them to bed a little earlier.
My kid will wake up at like 5:30 or 6 in the morning, no matter what time they go to bed.
That never happened.
Really?
That was me when I was a kid, dude.
That's pretty cool. Okay, Chris, thank you so much,
dude. Thanks,
coming
man.
on.
Glad we got this. I know we were trying to make it work for a while, but I'm happy to do it.
And Danny.
Yeah, man.
Thank you
that was awesome, dude.
Adding your comedic stylings here.
I didn't add much of those. That was mostly Chris, but it was fucking honor
I had to do the double vaginal conversation. Glad we got that out of the way.
It was good. I'm glad I was a part of that, honestly.
Yeah, you learned something new. You probably never met anybody your whole life who had that kind of tale, right?
I don't think so, yeah.
Or if they did, they didn't share it.
No, they're not sharing, yeah. Thanks, guys.
So thanks, Danny.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. And I don't think I mentioned it once, but I watched your special last night. I spent $10 on it. So,
I would have sent it to you.
Oh, no, that's fine. But I just want to say, you can go check that out on his website if you want to see his latest comedic offering.
Yeah, check him out.
You're working on another one?
I have a whole new hour that I'm doing on the road. You can go chrisdelia.com, get tickets. I'm everywhere. So yeah,
see Chris live, man. Yeah. It's a treat.
Thank you.
I saw you at the Laugh Factory. He blew the club out, man. It was great. If you want to die laughing for his entire set.
Oh, thanks, dude.
I like it.
It's a live medium, yeah, for sure. That's for sure. Stand up. Go see stand up live. Yeah,
let's go. Cool. Chris D'Elia, Danny Mullen, No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. Check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Patreon, Instagram, etc. Like, comment, subscribe. NoJumper.com if you want to support.